on Imam Al-Ghazali. So our presenter today is, my name is Imam Lina Amali.
Amirul Fitri, Muhammad Arif,
and Amirul Fahad.
Okay, so the first one to present today is Amirul Fitri, followed by me, I'm Farihan, and followed by Arif, Adina, and Farhan. So I'll pass to Fitri to start his presentation first.
slide. Okay, so I will present about the biography of Imam Al-Ghazali. So his name is Abu Hamid Muhammad Ibn Muhammad Al-Ghazali. So Abu Hamid, the name of Abu Hamid because his son named Hamid. So take from that Abu Hamid. He born on 1050 Masehi near the city of Tus in Khurasan. Khurasan is located at Iran. So he is from the Persian family. Persian family actually is famous for the Sufism. So his father also Sufism. His father died when he was young. Yeah. So about his education background, at 7 years old, he began his elementary education, study about Arabic, Persian, Al-Quran, and principle of religion. Then after that, he went to intermediate and higher education at madrasah, studied fiqh, tafsir, and hadith. Then at 15 years old, he moved to Jordan. Jordan is a flourishing center of learning at that time. It's located around 160 kilometers from Tus to study fiqh under Imam Al-Ismaili. So at that time, travel for learning to study famous. So he can travel to the long journey to study. At 20 years old, he moved to Nishapur to study fiqh, kalam, logic, and possibly philosophy under Imam Al-Juwaini. He studied for 5 years under Imam Al-Juwaini, and to assist him with teaching. For 5 years, he studied and assist Imam Al-Juwaini teaching. He take time for 5 years because at 5 years Imam Al-Juwaini passed away. Then he began to write and study Sufism under another Sheikh Al-Farmadi. His contribution: at 28 years old, he involved in politics and mingling with the ruling circle. Then he traveled to meet Nizam Al-Mulk, Seljuk minister. He also took part in political and wrote books until he was appointed as a professor to the Nizamiya Madrasah. At Baghdad. He became professor for 4 years. He also, at that time, he also studied about the philosophy, Greek philosophy and Islamic philosophy. Greek philosophy, for example, from Aristotle, Plato. And for Islamic philosophy, Avicenna and Al-Farabi. Then he wrote Maqasid al-Falasifa and Tahafuz al-Falasifa. At 38 years old, he underwent a spiritual thesis, internal conflict between rational intelligence and spirit, between this world and hereafter. As he underwent this spiritual thesis, then he having attained the truth by God. He left his post and he announced wealth, fame and influence. After that, he left Baghdad and made pilgrimage to Mecca and went to Damascus. Then he traveled to Damascus, Jerusalem and Mecca. Then returned to Baghdad in 1097 Masehi. As he returned to Baghdad, he turned to Sufism and wrote the book Ihya Ulum Hatim. As returned, he devoted his life to Sufism and wrote Minhaj al-Abidin, and he continued his life until he died in 1111 Masehi.
Okay, so I will proceed on the struggles in the Islamic world. During Imam al-Ghazali time, there were rages in the Islamic world during his time. And so Imam al-Ghazali played his role in solving these problems. There were two problems during that time. First one is the rages between philosophy and religion, between Islamic philosophy and Greek Islamic religion and Greek culture. And then the second one is the rages between the Sunnis and Shiites. Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah and Shia. Okay, so the first one, philosophy and religion. So Imam al-Ghazali played his role by solving the conflict by maintaining that he claimed that philosophy is correct as long as it is as it agrees with Islamic principles, and it is flawed whenever it is contrast with Islamic principles. So basically, he did not reject philosophy, but as long as it's not against philosophy, the philosophy is not against the Islamic religion, then it is acceptable. So he then write a very famous of his book named Maqasid al-Falasifa, which means the aims of the philosophers. This book is a prelude to his attacks on philosophy. And the second famous work by Imam al-Ghazali is Tahafuz al-Falasifa, the incoherence of the philosophers. In his book, he opposed the 20 philosophers in 20 major points, and it can be divided into three main points. The first one is the philosophers basically believe that the world is eternity. They don't believe the hereafter, the existence of the hereafter. Also, the philosophers deny deny the presence of God, the existence of God, and they are in denial of the day of resurrection. Okay, the second one, the second rage happened during his time, is the Sunnis and Shiites. So, Ghazali strengthened the status of Sunni Islam, and by joining the battle between the Sunnis and the Shiites, and between the Abbasid Caliphate and the Fatimid Caliphate. He then wrote several books to criticize the Batiniyas. If I'm not mistaken, Batiniyas is the Shia. If I'm not mistaken, Batiniyas is the Shia. So, which then significantly weakened the status of the Batiniyas. So the Batini fundamental principles are, they believe the imams are infallible. Basically, they believe that their imams are flawless. The imams did not do any mistakes, and they also interpret Sharia law according to their desire. It's like they made it to whatever they want. Okay, that's all from me. I will pass to Arif to proceed on the Sufism.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Once again, I want to introduce myself. Okay, my name is Muhammad Arif Mu'ali. You can call me Arif. Okay, now I want to represent one of the contribution of the Imam Al-Ghazali rahimahullah ta'ala. Okay, first, before I go to the contribution of the Imam Ghazali in this part, I want to I want to introduce some literal meaning about the Sufism. What is the Sufism or Tasawwuf? Sufism or Tasawwuf is the one that emphasizes Islamic spiritual practices. It's about the ihsan. Okay, I think all of you know about the pillar of Islam, right? You know the pillar of Islam, the pillar of Iman. But you know the pillar of the religions? The pillar, or we call it rukun agama. You know the pillar of the religion. You know it? No. No, eh? Okay. I think most of you already know the second hadith of by Imam An-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala. That's about the Iman, Islam and Ihsan, right? Okay. Silly Sufism is about the Ihsan. So Ihsan written is the hadith. In the hadith is the anta'budullah fa annaka tarah fa illam takun tarah. Okay, it's about when you worship Allah, you must feel that Allah see you or you see Allah. Okay, the literal meaning like that. Okay, so actually the Sufism is about the ihsan, the first the religion. I mean the pillar of the religion is the first is the aqidah, second is the ibadah, and the third is the ihsan or tasawwuf, or we call it as the knowledge of akhlaq, the knowledge of about your heart or something like that. Okay, this content is clean up our heart from mazmumah and practices of mahmudah. This is just a literal meaning of the Sufism, because the deep meaning of Sufism is quite, I think it's quite I'm actually not understand the deep meaning of the Sufism, because I already make some research, search in the Google, and already learned just a little bit about the Sufism, but I don't know the deep meaning of the Sufism. This is literal meaning of the Sufism. Okay, next. Okay, this is the books of Sufism written by Imam Al-Ghazali rahimahullah ta'ala. Okay, first is the Mizan al-A'mal. This is criterion of action. Second is the my friend already say before. This is Ihya Ulumuddin, the quite popular of the kitab written by Imam Al-Ghazali. Then third is the Bidayatul Al-Hidayah, the beginning of guidance. Next is Nasih al-Muluk, counseling of king. Third, fourth is the Minhajul Abidin, also already said by my friend previously, the methodology for the worshippers. And the last one is Ayuhal Walad, oh my children. Okay, actually today I bring with me my kitab. This is written by Imam Ghazali. This is Ayuhal Walad and Bidayatul Al-Hidayah. This is my book actually. I already learned about these two books. This book is actually talk about the adab or the manner of us as a Muslim to worship Allah or to face with another human or another makhluk of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. For example, the kitab Bidayatul Hidayah, he said he's written the content of this book is about the adab before we go to sleep, before we go to the masjid, before we perform a solah, or adab with our God, or adab with Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, or adab with our teacher, our friends, and everything. It's about the adab in our life. Ihsan is this sufficient is about the ihsan, adab, and something like to know ourselves actually. Okay, and then this is the last one, Ayuhal Walad, or the meaning is oh my children. Oh my children, this is actually the letter answered letter. The letter answered by Imam Imam Ghazali, because his student wrote some letters to the Imam Al-Ghazali rahimahullah to seek some advices. So the answer for the letter is this book actually. This is about the advices, and this contains 25 of the advices, and every advices advice Imam Al-Ghazali start with the Ya ayyuhal walad, oh my son, oh my children. Okay, I think that's all for me. Okay, I will pass to the
Assalamualaikum everyone. Okay, I'll present the philosophy of Al-Ghazali. Okay, remember before, Fijay has said that the two great philosophers followed by Imam Al-Ghazali is Plato and Aristotle, right? Okay, and then I on the presentation explained that the three major points opposed by Al-Ghazali is that the world is eternal, and then God does not know all things, and also resurrection is impossible. So I'll discuss more on how Al-Ghazali criticizes these three things. Okay, first, they say that, to put it properly, the world is eternal rather than created by God. And the second one, because of God's nature as an eternal being, he would only know the surface or the universal nature of things rather than their particular features. And also, the Greek philosophers claim that bodily resurrection is impossible. And then Al-Ghazali used logic and reason to oppose the philosophers. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the first argument, the world is eternal. Al-Ghazali said that it makes no sense that the world is eternal because Plato and Aristotle said that God changed his mind when he created the world. Okay, but then Al-Ghazali refuted this by saying God does not change his mind while creating the world, but creation of the world is always in his plan. You guys get it? It's not that he changed the world, that's when he changed his mind, that's why he created the world, but creation of the world is always in his plan. And then next one is rejecting God's nature as an eternal being, as he would only know the surface. But then, as we know, God knows all things, right? So if God knows all, he would have knowledge of all the changes happening to us even before he created us. So this statement, saying that God knows only the surface of everything, is wrong because the three things actually related. So the first one is world is eternal. It is not valid because the world cannot happen by itself, and it is very obvious that God created it. So the second one, God does not know things because he is also an eternal being. So they say that he will only know the surface, but then this is not true because God created us all, even the world. And the galaxy,
Okay. And then the next one is modeling reception is impossible. The Greek philosophers actually say this because they say that it is against the nature of, against the law of nature. Okay. This is because it is, as even now, it is very impossible to bring a dead body back to life. But then, because these three things is interrelated, Ghazali said that because God can create world, God knows everything, He can also do whatever He likes, such as bringing that body back to life. Okay, then the next one is, Ghazali is famous for his writing of the early Islamic philosophers, such as Al-Farabi and Ibn Sina, in the intentions of the philosophers, and then he also embraced the Greek philosophers' ideas in his work, and in his work, the incoherence of the philosophers. He, as stated by I, he do agree with the philosophy that are not against the law of Islam, but then as for the philosophies that are against the nature of Islam, he will reject it. And then he also embraces that the traditional belief that God is both omniscient, all-knowing, and omnipotent, all-powerful. And as human beings, we all have free will. We have free will, but then it should be that in accordance with the Islamic law. I'll pass this to Farhan.
Okay, next I would like to, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Next, I would like to present about the contribute or the impact of Al-Ghazali on theology. Okay, before I present this, since theology is the big scope and it is a very complicated knowledge, so I'm begging all of you, so please, if I have misconception or wrong information, could you please correct me, because this is a very complicated things to explain. So if madam is watching, madam can PM the PU. Okay, basically theology is the study of religious faith, practice and experience. Let me read through this first. The study of God and God's relations to the world, and according to Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, Islamic theology could be defined as the explanation of statements of the articles of belief based directly upon the words of the Quran and Hadith. However, this discourse can be initiated or is also initiated and developed by Orientalists or scholars who are interested in studying Islamic conception of God, the universe and their relations. So basically, theology. What is theology is, as a Muslim, we know, we are very clear about our creed, about our Aqidah, that there is no God to be worshipped and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. We are very clear about this. So the question is, as a human being, we want to know what is God, what is nature of God, what is His attribute. Is God like like animal, just like to be claimed by some religions, or God maybe just some human, just like to be claimed by Christianity about Jesus Christ? So what is the nature of God actually? What is the attribute of God that we need to understand? So the theology is the study about this thing. So the difference between Islamic theology and Islamic philosophy. Yeah, I read this first. Philosopher is searching for the truth based purely on his sound reasoning, without any commitment to his religious text. While theologian believes in something and then endeavors to rationalize this belief to reach out to those who do not share the same belief with him. Thus, a theologian presents his rationality in accordance to his religious belief, whereas a philosopher interprets his religious text according to his rational finding. Okay, let me put this in a simple way. The main difference between the Islamic theology and Islamic philosophy is the first knowledge of source. In theology, they put the Quran and Hadith as the first source, and second is akal. Theologians believe that Quran and the Hadith is the most complete knowledge to follow than akal. While the philosopher, they put akal in the first place and dalil and nas in the second place. Whenever the Quran and Hadith, which is contradict with human logic, they will reject it. That's the main difference. So Al-Ghazali's impact on kalam. I just read. Great philosophical ideas that enter the realm of Islamic theology, and this had tamed the image of kalam, hence the negative attitude towards kalam. Before Ghazali's time, there were great debates and even sects that were formed. Central to this debate was the role of reason, akal, and theology in particular, and religion in general. The Mu'tazilite school, who placed reason as a central filtering tool to understand religious was of concern. Al-Ghazali was follower of Ash'arite school. Other than this, he helped shaping the criteria of determining orthodox faith and argued against sectarianism and takfir through works such as Faizal Tafriqah and Iljam al-Awwam al-Mu'am Kalam. He helped contribute to plural nature of Sunni Islam. So,
do you guys have any question? So then we should ask you a question. Okay, so okay, so our first question is, what are the struggle in the Islamic world? What are the two struggle in the Islamic world?
The one that I presented just now.
One that I
Two.
Against
No, we
the
cannot
Greek
follow
culture.
question.
What are the two struggle in the Islamic world?
It was the Greek culture.
Okay, agriculture and Islamic agriculture. Philosophy versus
Theology.
Islamic religion versus Greek culture.
okay, that's fine.
Another one? Oh, we have two.
Yeah.
That one is one.
Yeah.
The second one. Is it the all the deniers of God?
Okay, yeah, it's true, but then, how do we? Someone need to say both of it. Like,
You mean it?
can you?
It's Sunnah versus Shia, and also the Islamic versus the Greek culture.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we'll move to the next question. Who are the two Greek philosophers whose ideas were rejected by Al-Ghazali? Who are the two Greek philosophers whose idea was rejected by Al-Ghazali?
Plato and Aristotle.
Yes. Okay, the third one is what is the difference between Islamic theology and Islamic philosophy, as presented by Farhan?
Theology is where you put the Quran and Sunnah above your akal, and philosophy is where you put your reasoning first, and then only you go for dalil and checking.
Okay, the fourth question.
Yeah.
What was done by Al-Ghazali to criticize the Batiniyah? What was written by Al-Ghazali? What was done by Al-Ghazali to criticize the Batiniyah?
The three points, right?
No, we only one. What was done by Al-Ghazali to criticize the Batiniyah?
Well, he wrote the book.
Yeah, what book? Maybe that's too hard. Was it too hard?
Yeah.
There's another question, which is the last question. Okay. The book that was written to criticize the Batiniyat is Maqasid al-Falasifa. And And Tahafut al-Falasifah. Okay, so this will be the last question. These two books of the Sufism.
The one that Arif presented.
Yeah, that I presented. You even bring the book.
Betul tu.
Huh?
Kuat lagi, kuat lagi.
Are you have and?
Lap.
Okay. Thank you everyone.